It's February 5th, 2020. This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Good morning, Edith Bush with the Office of the State Attorney.
Marie Taylor on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Ms. Taylor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Marie Taylor.
Marie Taylor. Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure I get your name. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Corey Johnson, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you're here in 2020. CF 1561AO. You're arrested for petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to the Walmart at 3101 West Princeton Street. No contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case. The bond will stay set at $1,000.
For right now, you're all set. You're all set.
So they gonna give me a free time.
No, you're sitting in the car.
All right, thank you.
So how long is it?
Your attorney will come out and see you.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Evan Custody.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 MO 211. You're arrested for camping in a prohibited place. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Augusti?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 4 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served and court costs.
All right, Mr. Augusti, that would get you out tomorrow if you want to accept that offer.
All right.
You want to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll have you sign the plea form. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, miss.
All right, did you understand everything that was contained in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yeah.
Are you on probation anywhere, sir?
No.
All right, you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept the plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by February 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. I have an affidavit for Mr. Lopez, who I believe is next, but he did not sign his affidavit. So we'll need him to sign his affidavit.
Sure.
Okay?
Should I approach? for
Sure.
that? Mr. Lopez, you want a public defender, right?
All right, good morning, sir. Sure, come on up. Good morning. Can you tell me your name? No? All right, can somebody tell me what his badge says?
Lopez Ring.
All right, Mr. Lopez, you're here in 2020 MM 864AO. You're arrested for criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case, and you may not return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. The bond will stay set at $500. You're out on bond at this time in 2019 CF 13099 for aggravated battery, petty theft, and resisting a merchant. And I am going to revoke the bond at this time and set that at none. Does he have the public defender?
Yes.
Okay, you do have the public defender. They're going to have to file some motions to set bond for you in that division.
Your Honor, would the court consider resetting a bond and double the amount of his original bond on the out-of-bond case?
Not on this case.
All right, so. Do what you can about that, okay? All right, you're all set.
Bridges?
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jeffrey Bridges.
All right, Mr. Bridges, do we know what happened to Alcy?
He refused.
Okay.
Refused/behavior.
Okay, all right, so Mr. Alcy is either not behaving and not able to come to court, or he is refusing to come to court. So I'm gonna find that to be a waiver. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent him. So Ms. Taylor, do you wanna formally waive? It's not like he can resolve this case today.
Sure, Your Honor.
Okay. So he's charged with possession of ammunition by convicted felon and resisting an officer without violence in 2020 CF 1580AO, and I do find probable cause. I did appoint the public defender, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. The bond will stay at $5,100. All right, Mr. Bridges. You're here in 2016 CF 729BO. You were arrested pursuant to a Capias for failing to appear for a case management conference on November 26, 2018. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. I have a form for the public defender. I don't know if they were previously appointed, but I'll appoint them to represent you today. They'll have to file a motion to set bond for you. I can't change the Capias, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, is it considered a temporary appointment, or?
No, he filled out an
Okay.
affidavit.
Okay, so Ms. Sweet.
I don't know if he was Miss Sweet represents him?
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
and she hasn't withdrawn from the case yet?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So I can't appoint the public defender to represent you. You're gonna have to get in touch with Miss Sweet. If you don't wanna have Miss Sweet on your case, that's fine, but, she'll have to withdraw, or you'll have to write the judge a letter indicating that you don't want her on your case anymore, okay?
Okay.
All right, why don't we, I just don't want him sitting in there if Miss Sweet is not gonna do anything, on the case. Let me see if she's filed anything.
We could, set it for a determination of
Yeah.
counsel in the trial division.
Let me just see if she's done anything since 2018 on the case and. Well, this is interesting because, oh, okay, sweet, was notified of that. Can we set, we usually do a DOC hearing here, but, we can have that set downtown. I can also have my office contact Ms. Sweet and let her know that he's here. So let me write the case down real quick. All right, what I'm gonna do is, we'll set a DOC hearing in a week here, because he has no bond. And if Ms. Sweet hasn't, done anything, but I will contact her, I will have my office contact her, Mr. Bridges, and make sure she knows that you're here and that she's gotta file a motion, okay? And then we'll have it on the docket in about a week and see if there's been anything done, and if not, then we'll reevaluate, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
sure. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Robert Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here in 2019 CF 10262AO. You're arrested pursuant to a Capias for failing to appear, and that was for pretrial conference on October 29th, 2019. The judge in that case did revoke your release and set your bond at none. Does he have the public defender? Okay. You do have the public defender's office in that case, so they'll have to file some motions for you. In 2020 MM 893AO, you're arrested for providing false ID to law enforcement. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer to resolve Mr. Brown's case?
Your Honor, the offer would be an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, so it would be a 5-day offer with credit for 2 days. You want to talk to Ms. Taylor about that real quick?
He'll accept that, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form. You're not on probation anywhere, Mr. Brown?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Sure?
Your Honor, does the court appoint the PD when we plea out these?
Well, he filled out a form.
Okay.
You advised him, so,
Sure. Yeah, no, I just.
and
wanted to
you
make a
have him
note.
on the other case, so, yeah. All right, Mr. Brown, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere? I know I asked you that, but I'm gonna ask you again.
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days with credit for 2 days' time served. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you. Good luck, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Zyla Christine Davis.
All right, Ms. Davis, you're here in 2020 CF 1578AO, and you were arrested for resisting a merchant and retail theft over 300. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you with your case.
Thank you.
No return back to the target at the 3343 Daniels Road in Winter Garden Village.
Yes,
No
Your Honor.
contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. All right, I am gonna stay the bond at the 1,000 on count 1 and 200 on count 2 based on the out-of-state. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor. I actually live here, though, with my 2 sons.
All right, well, it doesn't appear as if they have any information about your address. I think they tried to, that's based on the face sheet, so.
Yeah, I'm living here.
Your Honor, we're willing to take testimony as to the community ties if the court would hear it this morning. I think she would otherwise qualify for PTR based on her lack of history.
Right, but they have been unable to reach anybody that she's provided, any information they provided her with, provided them with. So, her last arrest was in August in Arizona. She says that her time of residence in Winter Garden is 1 week or less, that she's arrived to Orlando within the past week. So, I don't believe that that would establish any community ties. So if she can't make that bond, file a bond motion.
But I am living here.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk to my son.
Yeah, you're all set. Yep, you're all set.
Oh, thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right. Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Louis Diaz.
All right, Mr. Diaz, you're here in 2020 CF 1584AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am gonna stay the bond at the 15,000 on count 1. Count 2, I'll reduce to 150. Count 3, 100.
Your Honor, given Mr. Diaz-Rana's lack of criminal history, would the court consider setting the bond on count 1 at a more affordable amount than the 15,000?
Well, I don't know what he can afford or what he can't afford, but it doesn't appear as if he even knows where he's living. So if you want to take some testimony, I'm happy to hear that about any income or what he can afford. Has he made any attempts to try to bond out yet?
Yeah.
All right, please raise your right hand to be sworn in, sir.
Oh, other.
You
Oh,
swear
no,
to
you're
tell
right.
the
Sorry.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Diaz, can you tell the court where you'd be living once you bond out of jail?
The Cadence and Americana in San Antonio.
Are those the crossroads where the apartment's at?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who lives there with you?
My cousin and his wife.
Okay. And you've confirmed with your cousin that you can stay there?
Yeah.
How long have you been in Orlando?
4 weeks, just moved in from Tampa.
Okay. Are you, did you move here permanently?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've lived in Orlando for a month, but you're planning on staying here in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been living with your cousin for the past month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any job yet in Orlando?
No, ma'am.
What do you do for work? What do you do in the past?
I used to work at Mr. Car Wash in Tampa Bay and Dunkin' Donuts in American Eagle.
Okay. Do you have any money saved up right now?
No, ma'am.
So do you have any money in your bank account?
No.
So would your cousin be putting up money to bond you out?
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you think your cousin can afford?
I think it's between him and his wife. So I think he'll put half and she'll put half. So I think he'll go for like 650 her or yeah, half and half between them two.
How much do you think they can afford total?
1,000 around there.
About $1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Bush, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Sir, have you spoken to your brother and his wife about your bond or the possibility of?
Yes, ma'am.
And so they have confirmed that they're going to help you.
Yes, ma'am. They're on the way.
Are they both employed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of work does your brother do?
Oh, my cousin.
Your cousin, I'm sorry.
He used to do furniture retailing. It's this I don't know what's it called, but it's like wood, where they make the wood for tables and stuff like that. And then his wife works in the gas station.
Okay. And you said that you're not employed.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that include part-time employment?
I have no job at all.
Or, okay, because I see that when you were interviewed, you said that you were employed part-time
By, yeah,
for 3
I wanted
weeks
to.
at Nike.
Nike factory, yeah.
Okay, so you are not employed part-time?
No, ma'am. I want to apply there, though. I want to apply there.
Okay. And you moved here from Tampa?
Yes, ma'am.
And you worked for 2 years at Mr. Car Wash in
Yes,
Tampa?
ma'am.
How long ago did you leave Mr. Car Wash?
About a month or two ago.
About the time that you came here?
Before I came over here, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And you said that you had contacted a bondsman?
Yes, ma'am.
Which bondsman did you contact?
I contacted a bunch in here in the list. I contacted AA Bail Bond,
Okay,
Native, and Coast to Coast,
okay.
and then nobody answered.
And then after that, you spoke to your
Yes, ma'am.
cousin and his wife? I have no further questions. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, Mr. Diaz, I'm looking at your affidavit. You indicated you had $600 in cash and that you own a vehicle, a 2002 Acura.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, do you have that money available to you?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you have the car available to you to sell?
They took
It's in
it.
your name?
Yeah, it's on my name and all that.
All right, any argument, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on reading the affidavit, it wasn't clear to me whether the officers took the cash that was found into evidence or not, so I'm not certain that that cash would be in Mr. Diaz's property in order for him to use it to put forward to his bond. Same goes for the car. I don't know if he'd have the ability to even get it out of impound or if law enforcement will be seizing it as some kind of evidence. But based on the testimony and Mr. Diaz's lack of criminal history, he's testified that his family could afford about $1,000 total. If we add up the bond amounts, assuming he used one of the bondsmen on the list, he would be unable to post bond as currently set. The total collateral would be give or take about $1,800. So I'd just be asking Your Honor to reduce the amount in count one to at least $5,000 so that he'll be able to bond out.
Ms. Bush?
Your Honor, while the state believes that the bond as to count one is appropriate in this matter, the state would have no objection if the court were to reduce the bond on count one to $10,000 and stay the subsidiary bonds for count 2 and 3.
All right, I'll reduce the bond on count 1 to $10,000 and the subsidiaries of $150 and $100 will stay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Yes, my name is Thomas Fouts.
All right, Mr. Fouts, you're here in 2020 CF 1579AO. You're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling and burglary of a conveyance. Do you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back to the location of where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses and abide by the sign that says you can't trespass.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I am staying the bond at the $5,000 and $150 on count 2.
Your Honor, based on Mr. Fouts' lack of criminal history, I'm seeing that he has no prior convictions and no prior arrests either in Florida or out of state. I'd be asking Your Honor to reduce the bond amount in count one to perhaps $2,500. He's indicated to me and would put on the record as testimony that his family can afford $500 to bond him out.
I'm going to stay the bond.
Is Your Honor declining to take any
No,
testimony
you can
at this
take
time?
testimony, that's fine.
Sure.
Swear, can you raise your right hand, sir? Do you
Yes.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Mr. Fouts, where would you be living once released from jail?
I'll probably be staying back with my parents again.
Have you stayed with them before?
Yes, I have.
Were you staying with them when you got arrested?
Yes, like I was going in between a few places, but mostly there, yes.
Okay, how long have you lived in Florida?
I've been in Florida all my life.
Okay. How much can your parents afford to pay for your bond?
They might not come to pay 500. I wasn't able to talk to them on the phone when I was in processing, so I don't know exactly, but I would think they might come for 500. They might not. It's sort of hard. I've never been arrested before, so I'm not really sure about
Okay.
what my parents might have in mind with bond.
Do you have any money under your own name?
I don't right now. I'm kind of behind on some bills, and I don't have anything at all.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fouts, I'm looking at your affidavit, and you indicate you have $200 in cash. You don't indicate that you have any bills outstanding or liabilities or debts.
I'm sorry, what did you say about $200?
You put that you have $200 in cash.
No, it's $2.
Oh, okay,
That's what I
looked like
came in.
200.
Oh, no, it's what I came into the
Okay.
jail with, what I had and some change in my
Okay.
pocket.
My
And I don't have a job right now, and I don't have anything saved. I was only gonna mention that I have a tax refund coming in that I put in a few days ago. That's coming in for $208 on a visa that they're mailing to my house that should be there in a couple of weeks or
All
less.
right, Ms. Bush, did you have any questions for Mr. Fouts?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Fouts, I'll reduce your bond to $2,500, but I'm staying the subsidiary at $150.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Miana Frazier.
All right, Ms. Frazier, you're here in 2017 CF 2389AO. You're arrested for failing to appear for a status hearing on November 18th, 2019, and the judge did set your bond at none in that case. And does she have the public defender? She has conflict. Okay, you have conflict counsel, so you're gonna have to contact Mr. Stone, okay? And he'll have to file a motion to set bond for you in Division 11, okay?
So you're all set?
Have no court date.
Not yet.
No, no, we get one.
They'll give you one, and Mr. Stone will come out and see you.
Okay.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Matthew Hamilton.
All right, Mr. Hamilton. You're here in a bunch of cases, 2020 CF 1551AO. You were arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And so, Ms. Taylor, are you intending to make a bond argument as to all of these cases? Because I'll do that at the end if that's the case.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay the bonds, as set in the affidavit, 3,500 and 100, 2020 CF 1550AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. And I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. The bonds will stay at the same amount. 2020 CF 1548AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, and the bonds will stay as set in the affidavit. 2020 CF 1547AO, burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And I'll just appoint the public defender on everything, so I don't have to keep repeating that. And the bonds will stay at 3,500 and 100. 2020 CF 1545AO, you're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and there's probable cause. The bonds will stay set. 2020 CF 1540AO, you're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. there's probable cause, and I'll state the bonds as set in the affidavit 2020 CF 1541AO, burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set as in the affidavit 2020 CF 1543AO. There's a burglary of a conveyance and a criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set 2020 CF 1536AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. There's probable cause, and the bonds will stay set 2020 CF 1534AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and there's probable cause, and the bonds will stay set 2020 CF 1537AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and there's probable cause, and the bonds will stay set as in the affidavit 2020 CF 1539AO. Burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set 2020 CF 1552AO, burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set 2020 CF 1546AO, burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set as in the affidavit 2020 CF 1544AO. You're arrested for a burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set as in the affidavit 2020 CF 1542AO. You're arrested for a burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set as in the affidavit 2020 CF 1538AO. You're arrested for burglary of a conveyance, criminal mischief, and petty theft, and I do find probable cause, and the bonds will stay set as in the affidavit at 3,500, 100, 100. And you have the public defender on all of your cases, sir, okay? So they'll be able to file any appropriate motions for you. And, yeah, there are conditions, no return back to where any of the offenses are alleged to have occurred, no contact with any victims or any witnesses or any possible co-defendants in the affidavit.
I'll tell you the numbers, and then we'll reach out to you with the different case papers.
Oh, it's Junior, but it's really Junior. It's Junior. Junior. But my original is Junior though. Yeah, Junior.
Oh, got it.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Oh, it's Junior Lewis,
All right, Mr. Lewis.
but it's really Junior though. But they forgot to put the R.
Okay. All right. You're here in 2020 CF 155780. You're arrested for trespass on school property with a weapon, possession of burglary tools, and 2 counts of resisting an officer without violence. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. The bonds will stay at 2,500, 150, 100, and 100. I'm not gonna revoke your release, Mr. Lewis, on your cases, okay? But I am gonna let the judges know that you got arrested again. I know you're on conditional release in some of those cases.
No, I was going for like.
All right,
Oh.
but I just need to let you know that I don't know what's gonna happen with your conditional release, okay?
But yeah, I was going to a job interview. That's the only reason why I went on. I mean, not a
No,
job.
that's
Oh.
okay. It's okay.
All right.
Can I just, oh, I'm sorry, that was my fault. Can I just get your phone number for you?
Oh,
That's right. It's on here.
phone number is my own. They got my own.
Okay,
I'm the oldest system.
okay.
It's 47.
Okay. All right, I'll let your attorney know. Okay?
All right, good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning, John Mead.
All right, Mr. Mead, you're here in 2020 CF 1560AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine. You do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. So he's not able to be qualified for pretrial release.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Mead, I'm going to release you ROR. You need to make sure that no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. If you get arrested and you have an out on release case, your bond or your release can be revoked. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you got to show up to any court dates and keep in touch with the public defender's office so they can get in touch with you, okay?
Understood.
All right? Good luck.
Thank you.
Just call that main number so we can see who your attorney is, okay?
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Kalari Miller.
All right, Mr. Miller, you're here in 2020 CF 1297. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for home invasion robbery with a firearm, aggravated child abuse with a firearm, and grand theft third degree. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. I believe count 1 and count 2 are punishable by life felonies. Does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
The state would ask the court to rely on the facts contained in the affidavit to issue the arrest warrant. In that sworn affidavit, there are facts attributed to identifiable witnesses. Those identifiable witnesses provided facts that showed that they identified Mr. Miller as the individual that did come to the home, and that they had seen him prior to the date of this incident, and later identified him as the individual that did enter the home, did pistol whip the 14-year-old victim, and did enter a bedroom, remove cash and drugs from the bedroom. The state would ask the court to find that there's proof evident or presumption great to hold Mr. Miller at no bond as to those counts. He is entitled to a bond as to count 3. The state would ask the court to set bond accordingly.
Ms. Taylor, any argument or any evidence you want to present?
Not at this time, Your Honor. I would just reserve the right to do a full Arthur hearing downtown.
Absolutely. So I do find proof evident presumption great based on the affidavit that I reviewed, as well as the state's recitation of that information. And so, Mr. Miller, I am going to hold you at no bond on count 1 and count 2. Count 3 will be set at $10,000. These are the conditions of your release if you are to be released from the Orange County Jail. And after an Arthur hearing downtown, those may change, okay? So no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, no contact with any victims, any witnesses, or any co-defendants, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Does corrections have any other info on detainers?
I don't see any detainers for him.
Okay, thank you.
No, the bond can come off. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Kristen Norris.
All right, Miss Norris, I know we saw you yesterday. The bondsman came off the bond. Okay, that's why you're here.
I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, all I know is that the paperwork that they provide for me, okay?
Well, can you explain to me what's going on?
Well, the bondsman came off your bond. They've endorsed the bond, means that they're not going to remain on the bond, okay?
I don't get it.
So that was in the other case that you had back in August, 2019 CF 11159, and that's probably based on the arrest from yesterday, okay? So I cannot give you legal advice. You do have the you filled out a form for the public defender.
I don't know why he's coming off of
Ms.
that.
Norris, I need you to be quiet and listen to me, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna speak to my clerk, hold on, okay? All right, did she have the public defender before? Conflict? She has, so you have conflict counsel, I gave you
Yeah,
that
you
number
did.
yesterday,
Yeah.
okay? I provided you with that number.
Correct.
You're gonna have to contact them, I'm not gonna be able to appoint the public defender to represent you, okay? I know you filled out an affidavit, but they withdrew from the case and conflict counsel was appointed. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reimpose the same bonds that previously were imposed. Was it 1,000 and 100? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll reinstate those bonds.
You're saying
and
I
you'll
have
to
4 bonds?
No, the bondsman came off the bond. I'm going to impose the same bonds that you previously had. Okay, so you're gonna either have to find another bondsman or have somebody bond you out, okay? I can't help you out with that information. You're gonna have to contact the conflict counsel, the information that I gave you yesterday.
Is there a way I can have pre-trial release?
No,
I'm
you
getting
don't
my kids back on
you
Friday.
don't
I have court.
We talked about this yesterday. You do not qualify for pretrial release,
So how much is my
okay?
bond?
So it's gonna be 1,100.
I'm just gonna impose the same bond that there was before.
So I
She's
have
gonna have to
4 bonds?
contact the bondsman. Maybe they'll go back on the bond. I don't know, okay?
And she was already I-8 on the new case.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Is there any way we can please work something out, Your Honor?
I can't
I
work
mean-
anything out on a felony, okay?
But I didn't have it, I wasn't in the vehicle.
It's really better not to talk about it right now, but those are your bonds, so just fine.
I gave you
Is there any way you could come down on these?
I gave you the information for your attorneys yesterday, Ms. Norris. All right, please tell me your name.
Brittany Phillips.
All right, Ms. Phillips, you're here in 2019 CF 16364AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for grand theft 3rd degree and retail theft over 300 as a subsequent offense. And I do find there's probable cause has already been found, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back to 2515 East Colonial Drive, the puppy shop, or have any contact with any victims or witnesses as named in the affidavit. The bond on count 1 will stay at 1,500. Count 2, I'll reduce to 100.
Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Your Honor, I apologize. Ms. Phillips had requested that we consider PTR, and if I recall, when it's a warrant arrest, they don't get interviewed for community ties.
Yeah, I'll do or PTR if she qualifies.
Okay, thank you. So they'll come back and screen you, so just answer the question. Okay.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Ivan Riddle.
All right, Mr. Riddle, you're here in 2020 CF 1577AO. You're arrested for robbery, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Ms. Taylor, did you see that the bond correction sheet? I don't know if you all get those. So this,
Oh, no, I didn't.
okay, the scheduled bond is 5,000, but it's wrong in the affidavit. So that's just the schedule,
Oh, I
okay?
see.
So they do a bond correction sheet. So, Mr. Riddle, you're not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses. You may not return back to the Home Depot at 7022 West Colonial Drive. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. And I am gonna stay the bond at the $5,000 as set in the bond schedule. All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
Your Honor, Miguel Rodriguez refused.
Okay. And so I'm gonna find that to be a waiver, 2020 CF 156780. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office, and Ms. Taylor, did you want to formally waive? Can't
Yes,
plea
Your Honor.
anything out, yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he's charged by warrant, and probable cause was found for petty theft with 2 prior convictions, resisting a merchant, and battery. And I did appoint the public defender. He's not to return back to the CVS store at 7300 Colonial, Curry Ford Road. No contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case, and no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. The bond will stay set at 1,000 on count 1. I'll reduce count 2 to 150, and count 3 is 100. Plea? Somebody here for a plea?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, that's
I
okay.
didn't know.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
My counterpart and I arranged to meet around 10 o'clock, and so I just wanted,
Okay, is your client here?
I think yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Your Honor.
All right, no, I didn't know.
No, that's okay. I think she was last on the docket, so I was just waiting.
Oh, no, just let me know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were just sitting there.
Well, that's fine.
All right. Can you tell me your name, ma'am?
Jamila Pitman.
Okay, and then are you Miss Mears?
Yes, Diana
Oh,
Myers
okay. I
on
saw
behalf
your
of-
name on the, okay. It's nice. I don't know if we've met, but it's nice
I
to
don't
meet
think we
you.
have. Nice to meet you as well.
All right, and, so, Ms. Pittman, you're here in 2019 MM 7665AO. Looks like there was an agreed-upon plea, and it's my understanding the plea is an adjudication of guilt on both counts, and credit for time served, and no return to the Central Florida Toyota.
Yes.
Okay, and also, I did note, she's on probation.
Yes.
Okay,
and
so I want to make sure that everybody's aware that, I don't know if, was she previously violated before this case?
I have had multiple discussions with my client about her being on probation, and advised, against counsel's advice, she wants to enter the plea today to get to Seminole County. We've gone over the pros and cons of both, and then she ultimately made the decision that she'd like to get to Seminole County
Okay,
now.
she could, if she's able to, she can bond out, and then they'll take her to Seminole County. Does she understand that? Do you understand that, Ms. Pittman?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you bonded out and didn't take the plea, they would send you to Seminole County to handle your violation of probation. Were you aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's not what you want to do?
No, ma'am.
Okay, can I have you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so, Ms. Pittman, your case. All right, so you're gonna be, your understanding is you're pleading to count 1, which is resisting an officer without violence, and trespass in a conveyance is count 2. And I read what the plea agreement was, which was, do we know how much credit for time served she has?
182 days.
182 days, okay. And what are you on probation for?
For this county,
No, in Seminole County.
grand theft.
Okay, and so you understand that the maximum amount for your total, if that is in fact what you're on probation for, your total exposure in Seminole County based on a plea, which is possibly going to violate you, and probably already has violated you, is 5 years in the Department of Corrections, and you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you've talked to your lawyer about all of that information?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you want to enter a plea today, which you are understanding will violate you?
If I went to, I mean, like, I'm already violated. I violated it, right?
Right, but you're now saying you're entering a plea, so that's basically the state has to go to the judge and if you have a VOP hearing, they just enter the judgment and sentence. And that's pretty much proving that you violated, other than maybe some other issues that may come up. But I just want you to understand that if you bonded out, they would send you over to Seminole County and you will not have entered this plea. So I need to make sure that you understand all of the consequences of your plea today and what the ramifications or consequences of the plea will be for you in Seminole County. And I don't know. And I don't know if you know, and your attorney probably can't tell you if the judge will give you 5 years in the Department of Corrections. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so understanding that, you still want to go forward with the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, and, I think I have the plea form here. All right, so did you understand everything that's contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And we've established that you're on probation,
Yes, ma'am.
and that we've talked about any consequences that there may be from the plea, and you're willing to accept those consequences, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you think you've had enough time to talk with Ms. Mears about your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're comfortable entering the plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, against your lawyer's advice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty on each count, sentence you to credit for time served of 180 days.
182 days.
182 days in the Orange County Jail. And I do have to impose court costs. I'll order that you pay those by February 5th, 2021. You're also not to return back to the Central Florida Toyota. And
And that's at 11020 South Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando.
thank you. All right, and if you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, ma'am. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, one concern, I know she scored in her violation of probation here 15 months. I think it's less in Seminole County because it's one charge with the violation. However, she may still be scoring DOC, and with that, even with the credit time served, if she scores close to that, February may not be a time frame that she can accomplish that. Could we possibly do 60 days after, or 90 days after her release? Whatever that may be from incarceration.
Sure, I mean, that's fine. So we can amend that to 90 days from any release of incarceration from
Right.
what case, or, I mean, because her 90 days from her release from incarceration, I don't know when that will be, but
I mean, I know she's going to Seminole County so we could potentially say
do you
release
want me
from
to
the
give her
Seminole
2 years to pay it?
That would be great.
Okay, so we'll do February 5th, 2022.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay?
Yes,
All right,
thank you.
that works. All right, sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Good morning, Michael Silver.
All right, Mr. Silver, you're here in 2018 CF 16856AO. You're arrested pursuant to a Capias for failing to appear. And that was for a sentencing on June 21st, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. Does he have the public defender? Okay, you do have conflict counsel in your case, so you're gonna have to talk to whoever's representing you in your case to file a bond motion, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Does it matter that I was incarcerated on the day that I was supposed to
Well,
record?
it may matter, it may not matter, but the judge who signed the warrant or the Capias is gonna have to look at that information. So that'll all have to be put in a motion by conflict counsel, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also here in 2019 CF 5371AO. It's also a failure to appear. And that was for a sentencing on the same day, June 21st, 2019. And the judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. And my guess is he has conflict counsel in that case too? Yes? Okay. PD, you have the public defender in that case, okay? So they'll be able to file any motions to set bond for you or get you back on the docket for your sentencing, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You all set? I'll let you know.
Thank you.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Stephanie Smith.
All right, Ms. Smith, you're here in 2020 CF 1581AO. You're arrested for possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a prescription drug without a prescription. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you follow my requirements as well as theirs, okay?
Okay.
All right, don't miss any court dates.
Yes, ma'am. What is that?
So they're gonna give you paperwork and let you know what you have to do, but you'll be released today.
All right, good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
John Whitfield, Your Honor.
Mr. Whitfield, you're here in 2020 CF 1214AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause was previously found for burglary of a structure and petty theft, 2 counts of petty theft of $100 or more. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, no contact with any victims or any witnesses in the case. The bond on count 1 will stay at $2,500. Count 2, I'll reduce to $100, and count 3, I'll reduce to $100. They had an out on bond form, but and the dates are inverse, so no action is taken on the out on release.
Understood, Your Honor. Does the court have the warrant affidavit? I don't have a copy, and he doesn't know which address that he can't return to.
Sure, so this address is the 655 Gem Commerce Court in Apopka, Florida, the Special Ops Tactical. So you're not to return back to that location.
Real quick.
All right, Mr. Whitfield, if you have any questions, you can call that number. Okay? Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Whitfield is telling me that he's not able to financially afford the bond as set. I think the collateral would be about $500, and he's indicating that he doesn't have it. I do see that he has only 1 misdemeanor conviction in his criminal history and 1 failure to appear that was almost 8 years ago. Would the court be inclined to reduce the bond on count 1 to $1,000?
I'm not going to reduce the bond. He has an out on bond form, same type of incident. I'm just not inclined to reduce any bond. If he wants to file a bond motion, if he's tried and he can't post the bond, but based on the facts and the out on release case, I'm not going to reduce the bond. If you want to take testimony, you're more than welcome to, but.
Can I run those 2 cases together since they're the same issue?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
John Pemberton.
All right, Mr. Pemberton, you're here in 2020 CO 129. You're arrested for soliciting without a permit. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Was there an offer to resolve Mr. Pemberton's case?
Yes, Your Honor, it'd be an adjudication of guilt, 4 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right. You want to do that, Mr. Pemberton? That would get you out tomorrow.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll have you sign the plea form. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, it is.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days with credit for 2 days' time served. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck,
Okay.
Mr. Pemberton.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Carlos Ceciliano.
Okay, do we know what happened to William Baston? Okay, we'll reset Mr. Baston within 70 or 24 hours of his release from the hospital.
Sorry, Your Honor, was that, just so I can take a note, was that 24 hours, like, reset him tomorrow?
No, with 24 hours from his release from the hospital. That's how we do that.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know when he'll be out of the hospital, so they reset him within 24 hours.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Siciliano?
Ceciliano, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
all
Your
right,
Honor.
sorry.
No
All
problem.
right, you're here in 2020 MM 895AO. You're arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. I don't know if the state will have an offer to resolve your case today. Are you gonna hire your own attorney?
No, I just wanted to say something, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I don't want you to, anything that you say can and probably will be used against you. So I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case. Let me, hold on, okay? So, Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr., I'm gonna butcher your name, so.
Your Honor,
Juliano.
based on the fact that he has no criminal history,
Right.
the state is not going to convey an offer because there are other options
Okay,
available
so
to.
the state does have a program called pretrial diversion, and if you get into the program and you successfully complete it, then they'll drop the charges. You won't have anything on your record. It's important to keep your record clean,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? So, do you want me to see if you qualify for the public defender, and that way you have an attorney who can advocate for you? Because we're not gonna I don't wanna resolve the case today, okay?
Then I need a public defender.
Okay,
yes,
all
ma'am.
right. Do you work, sir?
Right now, I'm waiting for my work permit.
Okay, do you have any income whatsoever?
I'm selling things that I have in Costa Rica. That's what I'm living off right now.
Okay, and so do you have any money in a bank account?
Right now, I have like $300.
Okay. Do you have a vehicle?
No, I use my brother's vehicle.
Okay, all right. I'll find that you qualify for the public defender. I'll appoint them to represent you. You can't, and I'm gonna place you in pretrial release, so you won't have to post a bond. You need to make sure that you comply with my conditions, which are, you're not to return back to the Miller's Ale House.
I'm
at
never
one-
again.
Okay, at
So-
13536 South John Young Parkway. Don't have any contact with any victims or
ma'am.
witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning.
Yes,
Now, she's gonna give you a phone number. You need to make sure that you keep in touch with the public defender's office. You're gonna get a court date when you get released. Don't miss that court date,
No,
okay?
No.
All right.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Where do I get the number for the defendant?
So right there,
Here?
and I'll give you your court date.
Okay, thank you.
Hi.
All right, good morning.
Carlos
Can you
Harris.
tell me your name?
Carlos Harris.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harris. I'm sorry? Oh, I don't have foreman. I'm sorry. Okay. Mr. Harris, you're here in 2020 MM 889AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you in your case. And in 2020 MM 888AO, you're arrested for resisting an officer without violence, and I do find probable cause. And I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Was there an offer to resolve the cases?
There is. The global offer would be an adjudication of guilt, 15 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the Sun Plaza at 6100 West Colonial Drive, abide by all trespass warnings, and no contact with witnesses or victim, and court costs.
All right, Ms. Taylor, do you want to speak with Mr. Harris about that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Would that also include, I see,
The out on release case?
It would not include the out-on-bond.
okay. Would this,
I'm not going to take any action on that
Okay.
either way, so, okay?
thank you. Your Honor, Mr. Harris has indicated he wants to accept the state's offer.
Okay.
I just have a note here, and I want to double check that we don't have any other issues. Your Honor, I guess Mr. Harris changed his mind, so we would just be asking the court to consider a non-monetary release on the present cases.
All right, so, Mr. Harris, you don't want to accept the state's offer? Is that, okay, that's fine, you don't have to do that. So I'm going to order that you're not to return back to the Sun Plaza Shopping Center at 6359 West Colonial Drive. You've been trespassed from there, you got to abide by the trespass warning. No contact with any victims or witnesses. And, what I'm gonna do is, I am gonna reduce the bond on the trespass to 100, but I'm gonna stay the bond at the 500 on the resisting. He's out on release, and he's recently pled to another trespass case, so, I'm not gonna do a non-monetary release condition.
All right.
So you're all set, okay? Your lawyer will come out and talk to you about that.
And I'll take no action on the out on release case. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
James Leroy Jr.
All right, Mr. Leroy, you're here in 2020 MM 872AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it would be an adjudication of guilt, 7 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the laundromat at 2332 West Oak Ridge Road in Orlando, no contact with victim or witnesses, abide by trespass warning and court costs.
All right, did you hear that, Mr. Leroy?
No, I didn't hear how many
Okay.
days.
So it's 7-day offer, you have 2 days credit for time served, you can't go back to the laundromat, no contact with anyone at that location, and abide by the trespass warning. Do
Say 7 days?
you want to accept that offer?
7 days, 4 more days. Yeah, okay.
I'd like to accept it, Your Honor.
Okay.
And could we, I think Mr. Leroy's bleeding, should probably
Oh, that's okay, that's okay.
send him to,
No,
medical.
No, I had a scab there, I just picked it.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I'm all right.
You need to get your Band-Aid for it, that's okay.
Yeah, I went back to my room.
It's fine.
You all right?
Yeah. I just
Okay.
Picked a scab. Yep.
All right, Mr. Leroy, did you understand everything? Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yep.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yep.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea? Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea, sir?
Yep.
All right, are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Sorry.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days with credit for 2 days' time served. You may not return back to the laundromat at 2332 West Oak Ridge Road. Abide by the trespass, no contact with anyone at that location. And I do have to impose court costs. I'll order that you pay those by February 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
No, thank you.
All right. All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Josh McNeil.
All right, Mr. McNeil. You're here in 2020 MM 870AO. You're arrested for loitering or prowling and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm not gonna ask the state if they have an offer today because you're on probation, okay? So that's not a good idea if you enter a plea today. So I'm gonna order that you're not to return back to the Florida Mall at 8001 South Orange Blossom Trail. No contact with victims, witnesses, or any co-defendants in the case. And the bond will stay at $250, well, I'll stay the bond at $250 on count 1 and all ROR on count 2, okay?
Your Honor, we have Ms. McClendon refused.
Okay, and it's an out-of-county warrant. Huh? Oh, 7? Yeah, with 2, yeah. All right, so this is attached to the wrong case. Oh, okay, it's an AKA, all right. So she also goes by Maisha Williams, and it's a Pinellas County, out-of-county warrant. I'm gonna find her refusal to be a waiver. I can't appoint the public defender because it's a Pinellas case. So she does have a bond of $10,039, and so Pinellas County will have 72 hours, not including any weekends or holidays, to come and pick her up.
Y'all, I couldn't hear you. Oh,
It's
that's
not your case.
Okay, all right. I was be sorry.
That's okay. Do you need headphones? Or do I
No.
just need to talk louder?
Just a little. My hair is bad. I got ringing in my
Well,
ears.
let's get you some headphones, okay?
Okay, all right,
And
thank
then
you.
we'll make sure you hear everything. Are you Mr. Turner?
Yes, I'm David Turner.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Turner, you're here in Leon County, out-of-county warrant case, and the judge in Leon County did set your bond at none. So Leon County pursuant to our administrative order will have 72 hours, not including weekends or holidays, to come and pick you up.
Mhm.
If they don't pick you up within that time frame, you'll come back before a judge, okay?
Mhm.
All right?
What you mean, come back before a judge?
Means that the statute requires a reasonable amount of time. We have an administrative order, but the
Mhm.
statute requires a reasonable amount of time. So if they don't come and get you within that time frame, you'll come back before me or another judge, and we'll see what kind of communication we've had with Leon County.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Do I need to advise him of his reporting
He
requirements?
doesn't have a whole
Oh, okay,
report.
all right. All right, tell me your name, ma'am.
Natalie Williams.
All right, Miss Williams, you're here on an out-of-county Seminole County warrant, and the judge in Seminole County did set your bond at none. And so Seminole County will have 24 hours pursuant to our administrative order to come and pick you up. If they don't do it within that time frame, you'll come back before a judge, but my guess is they're right next door, so they'll come get you, okay? All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, sir? Hello? Hi.
Name is Richard Rivera Pagan.
Okay. Mr. Rivera Pagan, you're here in 2020 MM 796AO, and it looks like this was reset because Judge Jewett had ordered mental health pretrial release, but it doesn't look like they've been able to qualify you for the mental health pretrial release. So I am gonna order that you, well, I'm gonna stay the bond set in the affidavit at the 500 and the 100. And the PD was previously appointed, correct? Yes, okay, so you do have the public defender's office. And there was no action taken on your out on release case at initial appearance. Okay? Huh?
They're not giving me my medication, my psych medication. And I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I'm just
get-
saying that there was no action taken.
Because in here in jail, they're not giving me the medication. I've been putting sick calls after sick
Right,
calls. and
just
they're not
hold,
helping me out.
hold on one second, okay? Your Honor, I don't know what the considerations were last time this came up.
I don't know either.
Mr. Rivera Pagan has indicated that he doesn't have the money to afford a monetary bond and that he's not receiving appropriate medication while he's in jail. So we would be asking for ROR on the two offenses so that he can check himself into
Yes, ma'am. Behavioral health.
the UBC, University Behavioral Health Center, to undergo outpatient treatment.
Well, it looks like maybe there's some motions that your office would need to file, based on the out on release case, but I'm not gonna ROR him.
Does the clerk have a case number for that?
Sure, 2019 CF 13293AO.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm sorry, 139,
13293AO, and your office represents him,
thank you,
okay? And it looks like there's some recent evaluations in that case,
thank you.
okay?
All right, so they're gonna come out and see, okay? That's it for today. Nothing for today.
So this is on the same before.
For now it is, okay?
Yeah, because I mean, we got it, we got it, I'm not okay, so
see you, okay?
All right.
All right, are we ready on the 33 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, these are a little out of order. Okay. Excuse me. All right, I have 2019 CF 17456AO William Alexander Hayes.
A notice of non-filing was filed on February 4th.
All right, that will be granted. 2020 CF 122AO Hiram Matthew Fordhams Jr.
A notice of non-filing was filed on February 4th.
All right, that will be granted. 2020 CF 120AO Robert Arcee. I'm showing that his bond was revoked on January 24th. He's been in jail for 13 days since his revocation.
Yes, Your Honor, and the state, I notified the prosecutor that was covering on this matter. They had already filed a notice of non-filing, but the state is going to ask the court to deny the motion because total time, credit time served is 15 days, 3 days on the original.
Well, I'm
and-
not adding up days, but I'm
No, and-
I'm
yes,
talking
Your
from
Honor.
the revocation based on the case that we
Ye-
had with the writ that
Yes, Your Honor.
came down, so.
So
yeah.
the state is asking the court to deny this motion.
Okay, and then, I know you haven't been here, Ms. Taylor, so we've had some issues with the orders revoking, and, the case is not in my head right now, but pursuant to that case that we're following now, which was a writ, so we're counting 30, so it's untimely, so after the revocation, it would have to be another set of 30 days, I guess, so you could file the motion at the 30th day.
Okay, so I'm familiar with the writ, so I think we're talking about the same case. My question would be, so we're calculating from
The date of the
the
revocation,
revocation?
correct. It's been 13 days since the date of the revocation. So even if you wanted to add up all the days, it still wouldn't
Right.
amount to, and that's not how we're doing it, so.
So
And your office did file a motion for rehearing on another case, and we did a written order, and nobody appealed that. So that's where we sort of stand
Okay.
on the issue. And so I
my-
think it was Francis v. State, or?
I'm trying to remember.
I should know this. French v. State, that's what it was.
What was it?
French v. State.
Right.
So,
So I have the,
yeah, pursuant to French v. State, which is really just that case, and we just have a lot of issues with the way that went down based on how the order or the opinion was written, and that they were indicating the state conceded, which they actually did not. If you actually read their response, they did not concede. And then I think your office filed some other motions, and we denied them, and we had a rehearing, an argument and everything, and we did a whole written order, and nobody appealed it. So we're going with the, after revocation, it has to be an additional
okay.
amount of time.
So there was a written order done in this same in the same French case?
No,
after?
well, there was a written order done in French, and then there was also a written order done in another case subsequent to French. And was it Mr. Adams with your office? Okay, he handled that motion for
Okay.
rehearing and did not appeal the court's written order.
I understand.
So we're going with our,
Yes, for purposes of today, since I don't know the substance of, I guess, this court's written order and why Mr. Adams didn't appeal it, my argument for today would just be that there's nothing in Rule 3.134 that indicates that we're counting days incarcerated or
right,
days
I understand that your
after-
office's position is from the date of arrest.
Right.
We don't read the rule that way. We read the rule as the amount of time from custody. So if you're released, you don't get to add up the days, and then
Right.
you have to be in continuous custody for that amount of time.
The
So-
issue, and at this point, I may just be putting it on the record, I understand
That's
that
fine.
we don't agree, but the text of the rule, 3.134, makes no mention of continuous days in custody and makes no mention of starting over the count when someone is released or not. I don't think there's anything in the legislative history or otherwise in the rule that would indicate it was the legislature's intention to make the rule contingent on any of these other circumstances, because the language does say, in no event shall the defendant remain in custody after 40 days. So I understand, of course, that we're calculating the time period differently, but based on the procedural history in Mr. Arcee's case, I believe that, or my argument would be that he's entitled to automatic release on his own recognizance despite the court's revocation on January 24th, and there's nothing that prevents the court from entertaining the motion for automatic release based on the rule of procedure 3.134.
Okay, well, my reading of the rule is that it states defendants in custody. So that's my reading of the rule, not that from the date of arrest, that if they're not in custody. So I'm going to deny that.
Okay.
All right, 2019 CF 17534AO, Henderson Edwards James Jr.
A notice of non-filing was filed on February 4th.
All right, that will be granted. 2019 CF 14135AO, Douglas Keith Sanders.
A notice of non-filing was filed on February 4th.
All right, that will be granted. And 2019 CF 8361AO, Kelvin Edward Bailey.
And information was filed on February 4th. Filing ID is 1027472999.
All right, that will be denied. All right, anything else?
Nothing from
How
the
does,
state.
okay, how does our afternoon look?
Look like about 12 here, I'm looking at.
Okay. Do y'all want to do a move up or?
The state would opt for a move up.
How much time do you need, Ms. Taylor?
Um,
I think
So
some of
there's
those are
12?
like out of county too, and,
if there's only 12, I don't need more than,
well, like half an hour?
Half an
or-
hour.
Okay, so we'll come back at, 11:05. Does that work?
sure.
Okay, all right, we'll be in recess until, is that okay with everybody else? Okay, all right, we'll be in recess until 11:05. It's February 5th, 2020, and this is courtroom 1, session 2. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record?
Good afternoon, or good morning.
Yeah.
Edith Bush for the Office of the State Attorney.
Marie Taylor on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
All right, and did y'all have enough time to review everything, talk to whoever you need to talk to?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. There was only, I think, one person that we didn't get a chance to do an affidavit for.
Okay,
I guess Madam Clerk will tell us when they come up.
okay. Been hiding. Yeah. Since Christmas. That's a good idea. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Anthony Cologne.
All right, Mr. Cologne, you're here in 2020 CF 1586AO. You're arrested for uttering a forged check, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. No return back to the Sunoco gas station at 4138 West Oak Ridge Road. No contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. And you live here in Orlando?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you work?
I start next week. Well,
Okay. And do you have a way to get to court?
do I have a way to get to court?
Yeah. Yes? Is that a yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna release you ROR. You need to make sure that you keep in touch with the Public Defender's Office. They know how to get in touch with you, okay? And you know how to get in touch with them. And you don't miss any court dates, and you follow all the conditions of your release. If you violate any conditions of release, that release can be revoked, okay, Mr. Cologne?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So 54. 28. 75. 65.
All right, you're all set. That's the number, okay? Just call it and find out from your lawyers. That way.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Gabriel Wilson, good morning, ma'am.
All right, good morning. You're here in 2019 CF 14525AO. And you're arrested pursuant to a Capias for failing to appear for case management conference on January 27th, 2020. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none in that case. Does he have the public defender? You do have the public defender, okay? So they're gonna have to file a motion to set bond for you. And why don't you talk to Miss Taylor real quick if you have a question? I don't want you to say anything that you might regret, okay?
For right now, yes.
All right, and sir, you're also here in 2020 CF 1588AO, and you're arrested for possession of a controlled substance, that being cocaine. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'll stay the bond at 1,000.
We'll be out to talk to you, okay?
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Lamarcus McRoy.
McCroy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, you're here in 2020 CF 1589AO. You're arrested for possession of MDMA and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. And no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 1,000. I'll reduce count two to 100. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Javier Medina.
All right, Mr. Medina, you're here in 2020 CF 1332AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that case. And not to return to, I believe, the marshals at 5975 Goldenrod Road. No contact with any listed victims or witnesses at that location. I am gonna set the bond at $1,000. And you're out on release in 2019 CF 16924. There's an O on the face sheet and on the out on bond form, but it just ends with the 4. No, there's no 0 at the end of that. And so I am going to revoke that release and set the bond at none. And you do have the public defender in that case, so they'll be able to file any motions to set bond for you in that case.
Is Your Honor inclined to reset a bond amount in twice the amount on the out on bond
No.
case today?
No.
Okay, so you're gonna have 0 and 1, and then 1,000 on the other. So I'm gonna email them and let them know. Okay?
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Legarian Payne?
All right, Mr. Payne, you're here in 2020 CF 1587AO. You're arrested for burglary of a dwelling, grand theft of $100 or more from a dwelling or curtilage, and grand theft 3rd degree over 10,000 under 20,000. And I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Did you fill one out?
No.
Okay. Did you want to fill one out, or is it? I don't know if this is
No, I
one
was
of the
telling
ones
them
that.
I can represent myself because
Okay, I don't recommend that, okay? I don't think that's a good idea. These are some very serious charges. You have Miss Bobeck on your other case. Were you gonna contact Miss Bobeck?
she's dealing with that case. But
Okay.
the only reason I
I
was
don't
saying,
want you to talk about the facts, okay? Because anything that you say can be used against you.
right,
But you didn't fill out a form for the public defender, so that's what I want to talk about right now.
right.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for them? I think it's important that you have an attorney.
Well, for this case you could, but I really don't think I would need
Okay, well,
one.
you can always talk about that with the judge on your case, okay? And decide whether you want to represent yourself later. So, do you work?
Not right now.
Okay, do you get any income at all?
Not at the moment. I don't work.
Okay, all right. I'll appoint the public defender's office based on your testimony. And so, I do find probable cause for all of those offenses. I did appoint the public defender. You may not return back to the victim's residence. No contact with the victim or any witnesses or the co-defendant or anybody named in the affidavit.
No.
No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case, okay? All right? And I am gonna stay the bond at the 5,000 and 150 and 150. And you're out on release for robbery in 2019 CF 5952AO. You do have Miss Bobeck in that case. You're gonna have to contact Miss Bobeck, and she'll have to file a motion to set bond for you. All right, do you have a question? I would like you to pose that to Miss Taylor, because I don't want you to say anything that you might regret, okay?
Miss Taylor?
Yeah.
We're all set, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Contact Ms. Boback, okay? All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
John Henry Roberts Jr.
All right, Mr. Roberts, you're here in 2020 CF 15940. You're arrested for armed robbery with a deadly weapon, resisting a merchant, and 2 counts of battery. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. And I believe count 1 is a punishable by life felony. And Ms. Bush, does the state wish to be heard?
Robbery,
That's what you're arrested for.
I stole from several.
Okay, well, I would not say anything about any facts, okay? Because everything that you say, Mr. Roberts, can be used against you. Everything that you say, you're being recorded, okay? So the state can pull the recording, and, you know, any admissions that you make are gonna be used against you. So you have an attorney there, and they can say things to me that you would want to say, okay? All right, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the sworn arrest affidavit in this matter. That affidavit contains facts from identifiable witnesses that attribute the actions of Mr. Roberts that are contained within the affidavit, and those identifiable witnesses did identify Mr. Roberts as the person that did enter the store, did pull out a knife and threaten the
Whoa!
Hold on.
and threaten
take you
the
out of the courtroom.
victims, Your Honor, and did
All right, I don't know if he's gonna be able to be brought back in. Probably not.
Come on, Mr. Roberts, come on. Let's talk, come on, okay.
One more offers, you don't.
All right, Mr. Roberts, I need you to listen to me. You're gonna have to keep your hands where they tell you to keep their hands, okay? Can't make any sudden movements, because that is not appropriate for the courtroom, okay? I need you to be quiet. If you have a question, you wait for everybody to be finished, and then you can talk to Ms. Taylor, okay? Do you understand? All right. Okay, Ms. Bush?
And, Your Honor, the state would ask the court, based on the facts contained within the sworn affidavit, to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Roberts is the individual that did commit the acts alleged in the affidavit, and as to count 1, hold him at no bond. As to counts 2, 3, and 4, the state would ask the court to stay the bonds as to count 2, and the state would recommend subsidiary bonds as to count 3 and 4.
All right, Ms. Taylor?
Your Honor, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, I don't believe that robbery with a deadly weapon is a PBL. I know it's an F1, but I think that Mr. Roberts is entitled to a bond. If it were a firearm, I think it would be a PBL.
Your Honor.
Firearm or deadly weapon, but let me just look up the statute to be sure.
And Your Honor, that is correct. It's under the statute that he's charged with. It is an F1. It's not a quote-unquote PBL, but it's punishable up to and not to exceed life, Your Honor.
So it is punishable
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me look at it real quick, and then we'll make sure.
And the state did pull the statute.
So it's, yeah, 2A is, in the course of committing the robbery, the offender carried a firearm or other deadly weapon. The robbery is a felony of the first degree, punishable by imprisonment of a term not exceeding life. So it is a PBL. Now, they've indicated it's a deadly weapon, as in the affidavit. If you look at B, he was not charged under B, that's carrying a weapon. Now, whether or not it's arguable whether a pocket knife, but that could be in utilizing a knife, it could be utilized as a deadly weapon. So I guess that's an argument to be had for purposes of charging. Okay, so
Yeah.
now that we've flushed that out, I think that the argument could be made for probable cause
Yes, Your
for
Honor.
the deadly weapon.
Yes, Your Honor.
Whether that's provable at a trial is another thing, so.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any other?
With that, then I would just move on to the next point of whether the court can find proof evident presumption great based on the facts contained within the affidavit. And I don't believe, without any sworn testimony from these witnesses mentioned, we don't have enough to say that proof of guilt is evident or the presumption of guilt is great. Like Your Honor stated, this sounds like potentially a charging question or a question of whether the state could put forward prima facie evidence. But with that, and based on the way the case law shakes out on this issue, I don't think enough is contained within just the four corners of this affidavit without any kind of testimony from witnesses sworn and under oath as to how the particular weapon was used. Alternatively, if the court does find proof evident presumption great, I would ask the court to exercise its discretion and set a bond for Mr. Roberts. I don't think the facts at this point, as they read, justify holding him without any bond whatsoever.
All right, well, I mean, there is sworn testimony because they provided sworn affidavits to law enforcement as to what allegedly occurred, and indicated that he pulled out a small pocket knife, held the knife in their direction, and stated, "I'll be back." So I believe that would meet the threshold for the robbery with a deadly weapon. So I am going to hold him no bond on count 1. And you can have a hearing downtown as to a discretionary bond. Count 2 will be stayed at 500, count 3 will be reduced to 100, and count 4 will be reduced to 100. So no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any victims or witnesses, and no return back to 486 North Orange Avenue, the 7-Eleven. And Mr. Roberts is out on release for petty theft with 2 prior convictions in 2020 CF 1074AO. And so I am going to set the bond at none and revoke the bond in that case. And I don't know if he has an attorney. Okay, I'm going to appoint the public defender in that case to represent you, Mr. Roberts. And Ms. Taylor will give you a phone number, and you can call that number. And they can file a bond motion for you in both of the cases. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please. Come on forward. Mr. Pollard. Okay, did Mr. Welty bond out?
Yeah, bond.
Okay, we'll take no action on Mr. Welty. And then Mr. or Miss Gibson? PTR, admin PTR, okay. All right. All right, Mr. Pollard. You're here in 2020 CT 864AO. You were arrested for no motor vehicle registration, and I do find probable cause. You're not going to qualify for the public defender based on your income.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you, I'm showing a federal detainer. Are you
I
on
don't
federal
know.
probate? Okay, I
don't
just
know
want to
what's
make sure you're
about.
not on probation.
From immigration.
The officer, he
I don't
explained
want
to
you
me.
to talk about the facts of the case, okay? So make sure you're not talking about any facts
Right,
of
he
any
said that
case.
it comes from one of my aliases.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to resolve your case today.
Yeah, I
or-
wanna-
Okay, but I don't know if that will affect whatever's going on with any holds that you may have.
Well, the officer here said they was gonna talk to me. ISIS was gonna come talk to me about it.
Okay.
I know they got my handprint, so
Right,
it's
so
not
I don't
me.
know if that, you're a US citizen?
Yes, ma'am. Born here in Orlando.
Okay, all right, so I'm not concerned about that. I don't know why immigration.
Me too.
Okay.
I don't understand it either.
Okay, all right. So you want to resolve the case today?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
But his positive ID was not made? that's the note?
Well, I gave him my license.
It's cleared now.
Oh,
It
he's
is cleared
cleared.
now.
Does he still have the detainer?
The ICE detainer is still in, yes.
Okay.
For the
Okay.
federal.
All right, and you're saying that has something to do with like an alias maybe?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
you have?
I used so many different aliases when I was young. I guess maybe came up. Another possibility is my last name was my mother's maiden last name, and I got it changed when I got married to my father's last name. So they was confused about that
You
too.
feel comfortable entering a plea today?
I mean, I want to go home. I got, if I, okay.
I get it. Ms.
Okay,
Bush, do you have an offer for the no motor vehicle registration?
Yes, Your Honor, it would be an adjudication of guilt, credit time served.
Okay, do you want to do that?
Yes,
You'll
ma'am.
get out today.
But yes, ma'am.
All right, and
And
Mr.
don't drive a vehicle.
Believe me, I
without
want.
proper
I
registration.
want. I was trying to.
I don't know if you'll get out today, though, so, you'll get, you're released from this case, but you have the detainer.
For the ICE.
Right,
Right.
I
I'm not
don't-
worrying about
okay.
that. They
Okay.
ain't gonna take me nowhere.
Okay, I'm just letting you know, I don't know if you'll get
They run those
out
fingerprints
today.
in, they'll find out it's the wrong guy. If they got a case, they got the other guy's fingerprint.
Okay,
So I just wait on that.
if you feel comfortable,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
And if they send me anywhere, Officer Gordon, you let them know. Because I'm from Florida, believe me.
All right.
Raised,
Is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Did you
yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And I asked you before, are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and do you understand that if you're not a US citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
That's funny. That's real funny.
Well, I'm required to
Right,
tell
right,
you
right,
that,
right,
so, and then you gotta let me know, like,
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
understand?
Yes,
That if you're not a US citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am. I know that.
Okay,
I'm trying to figure out where they're gonna send me at, if they're gonna
Okay.
deport me.
all right. All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to, is it 1 or 2?
2 days.
2 days with credit for 2 days, time served. 1 day? Okay, 1 day with credit for 1 day, time served. And, you can't drive without a valid motor vehicle
I'm gonna get it.
registration,
I'll get it. I'm
okay?
gonna handle it once I get
And
home.
I do have to impose court costs. I'll order that you pay those by February 5th, 2021.
Okay.
If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. All right? Good
Yep.
luck, Mr. Pollard.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Finolette bonded?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take no action. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Tim Long, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, Mr. Long, you're here in 2020 MM 901AO. You're arrested for trespass in a structure as a refusal to leave. And I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Did you want to see if the state had an offer to resolve your case today?
I found myself guilty.
You want to plead guilty? Okay, well, we don't even know if there's an offer today, and I don't have, is this the correct face sheet?
No, it was updated, Your Honor.
Is there an offer, Ms. Bush? I'm getting the correct, no history, okay.
And Your Honor, based on the fact that there's a no history, the state conveys an offer of a withhold credit time served, no return, abide by any trespass warnings and court costs. However, there are other options for resolution.
All right, so Mr. Long, the state is is offering you a withhold with credit for time served, and there's court costs, obviously you can't go back to that location. You don't have any criminal history. I would release you on your own record. Listen, you don't want to be released and you just don't want to go back to court, is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you, Miss Taylor, I didn't appoint you, but as a friend of the court, maybe would you talk to him a little? Because there's other options for him, maybe.
Sure.
I want to.
Does he understand he's gonna get out today with the plea?
I
Yes, Your Honor.
Like you're not gonna stay here any longer when you plea?
want to take guilty.
Okay.
I don't have any concerns, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I mean, it's up to him, Mr. Long, it's up to you.
I want to be guilty.
Okay, but you know that you're going to get out today regardless of whether I release you on your own recognizance or you enter the plea.
I don't want to be released.
But you're going to be released.
I don't want to.
Well, I'm not gonna hold you.
I got a second offense. First offense.
I can't, what did he say?
said he has a second offense.
Stop.
I don't have another case for you, sir.
Stop living.
They,
There is a shoplifting in his history.
Right, but
It
it's
doesn't look like it's.
It's an arrest, and I
Yeah,
have no idea where it's from or when it was. There's nothing else in the system for
Does it appear
him?
that it's a companion case to this?
I don't know if I'm comfortable taking a plea.
I want to be guilty.
Mr. Long, I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you, okay? And I am gonna release you. I'm not comfortable taking a plea today. I'm not sure you understand necessarily what's happening. And you indicated that you have another case, but we're not aware of any other case. And I'm not gonna hold you. So I am going to release you ROR, and you're gonna get a court date.
I don't.
You gotta show up to that court date, and your attorney's gonna give you some information, and that's how you get in touch with your attorney, but I'm not quite sure you understand the things that are going on right now. So I'm not comfortable taking a plea, even if he wanted to plea today. Okay?
Understood, Your Honor. I think he's saying now that he doesn't want to come back.
Okay, right.
But
So you're not to go back to the ORMC unless they take you there in an ambulance or you're being treated there, okay? And so you need to make sure that you follow any trespass warning that they've provided to you, okay?
did you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to stay overnight.
Say that again? call that number, okay?
All right, good luck, Mr. Long.
Just call, and we can try to help you get bus tickets.
All right, can you tell me your name, sir?
Frederick Edmund Pinkney.
Okay, Mr. Pinkney, you're here in 2020 MM 897AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. And I do find probable cause, and I don't have a form for the public defender. Did you want to resolve your case today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Bush, is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 1 day credit time served. No return to the scene, which is the Waffle House on West Colonial Drive. Abide by all trespass warnings, no contact with witnesses, and court costs.
All right, so Mr. Pinkney, did you hear the offer? 5 days with credit for 1, no return, can't have any contact, abide by the trespass warning and court costs. Do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll have you sign the plea form. All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days with credit for 1 day time served. No return back to the Waffle House at 6990 West Colonial Drive. Abide by the trespass. No contact with any witnesses or victims at that location. I'll order you pay your court costs by February 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, good morning.
Hello, ma'am.
Tell me your name.
Aisha Bruger.
All right, and is Miss Smith coming?
I understand she's mental.
Okay. All right, we'll handle that after Miss Bruger. All right, Miss Bruger, you're here in 2010 MM 7936AO, and you are arrested pursuant to a Capias for failing to appear for trial on January 15th, 2020, and the judge did revoke your release and forfeit your bond and set it at none. And it looks like you did have, I think you had Mr. Butcher, and then he withdrew, and so I appointed the public defender yesterday. And then I think I wanted to see if the state had an offer for you, and they did.
They came to see me.
Okay,
and
so
told me.
did you talk to
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Taylor
So
about
that
the
would be
offer?
today, I would get out today.
I think you'd get out today.
Okay.
Okay? What
Yeah,
is the
see,
total
I-
19 days credit for time served?
Total would be 19 as of today. Yes, Your Honor.
And then the offer was 20?
It was a 20-day.
Okay, so that would get her out today?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Correction.
See, I've been arrested a lot since
Okay,
2010.
I don't need to know all of that information, okay?
Sorry.
Would that get her out today? Okay. All right, and so, Ms. Bruger, did you, and I think that also includes, no return, abide by the trespass warning, and then obviously I would have to impose court costs, and I'll give you a year to pay those off.
Okay.
So you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form, and then, Ms. Taylor, did you explain to her the enhanceable offense of theft?
Oh, yeah, they did that yesterday.
Okay, good.
The
You
lady.
understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can just forget it. It's fine.
Thank you.
Am I done?
Judge is just looking.
All right, Ms. Bruger, is this your signature at the bottom of the plea form? And did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you on probation anywhere?
Oh.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also indicated to me that you understood that theft is an enhanceable offense,
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
understood what they explained to you. So if you have 2 adjudicated thefts, third one can be a felony.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you got it.
Thank you.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 20 days with credit for 19 days time served. Can't go back to that Beals outlet at 10527 East Colonial Drive. Abide by any trespass warning and no contact with any listed victims or witnesses. I do have to impose court costs. I'll order you pay those by February 5th, 2021.
Okay.
If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, and then Ms. Smith, it was a refusal?
Well, she refused, but I think it's more mental health.
Yeah, okay. I mean, she's got a lot of cases here. So, all right, so I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent her. And it's 2020 MM 898AO, and she's charged with trespass on property after warning. Ms. Taylor, do you want to formally waive? I don't think we're going to resolve her case regardless. I'm not going to revoke her release or anything like that, but I am going to stay the bond, and any motions that need to be filed can be filed here.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I will stay the bond at the 500. She's not to return back to the Sitco at 520 South Orange Blossom Trail. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning, and no action will be taken on her other cases. Right, I think that's it. Anything else? All right, going, going, gone. All right, we'll be in recess until tomorrow.